Take a good look at this image. It's a pretty simple pixel art JPEG, and honestly doesn't look that special. But it is. This image was sold in March 2021 for $7.5 million in Ether. The artwork isn't impressive. In fact, it's ridiculously simple. It's something that anyone with a mouse could create using an online pixel editor. So why is it valued so highly? JPEG images have been selling for ridiculous amounts of money recently using a new digital marketplace. It's a new craze called NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, that use blockchain technology to verify the owner of a specific image. It doesn't matter that you or I could simply screenshot the image and keep it for ourselves. The fact that the blockchain verifies ownership means that the owner could sell the image, and it's verified that they have the right to do so. Because of this exclusivity, theoretically it means that the images have value. But the real question is, how do we determine how valuable the images actually are? As with the sale of physical art, the value of the image comes from how much another buyer is willing to pay for it. But with some NFTs getting purchased for millions of dollars, the question is, how could another person possibly find another buyer who values it as highly? This brings into question the entire marketplace. Why are these buyers willing to spend millions of dollars on a speculative token that, in all honesty, is likely to lose most of its value once the hype dies down? The answer is simple. They don't actually value the image itself. They are using it to clean their dirty money. Blockchain is a relatively new technology, and regulators have been slow to create new laws and regulations that govern it. Because it's a global market, it requires cooperation with governments around the world, and obviously this cooperation is hard to organize and even harder to enforce. Countries such as the US have started to require crypto exchanges to implement what's called Know Your Customer, or KYC for short. KYC regulations require that when a user signs up for the service has to collect some information about who the user is, such as their name, social security number, and other identifiable information. This enables governments to be able to trace transactions for a user so that they can collect taxes and identify bad actors. The problem is that not all exchanges have done this because it's a lot of work to get done right. Many of these exchanges have simply refused to do business in countries that require KYC. But that doesn't stop users from accessing the sites, using VPNs to fake their geographical location so that the exchange is none the wiser about where the user is actually located. These exchanges know that this is happening, but they refuse to do anything about it because it actually helps their business. And because these exchanges are based in countries that haven't set up these regulations, they aren't getting any pressure from their local governments to solve the problem. With a lack of KYC, it's impossible to know who users are when they sign up for an account, deposit funds, and make trades. It's hard to know if they came about the money legally. With NFT marketplaces, a lack of KYC means that an individual could create multiple accounts, artificially increase the price of a token by making fake trades, and then eventually sell the NFT to themselves for millions of dollars. On the outside, these transactions look legitimate because there is a clear log of the buys and sells, but on the inside, these transactions are all happening by a set of bad actors. Next, we're going to talk about the process for money laundering through NFTs and how it actually works. But before we get into that, please make sure to like this video and leave a comment. It's going to help us with the YouTube algorithm and reach more viewers. Thanks. In 2017, there was a massive crypto boom. Thousands of tokens were created on the Ethereum network and minted with the intent of attracting uninformed buyers, increasing the price of the token, and then letting the people who minted the token cash out for considerable profits. These tokens were being traded as securities and created as part of an initial coin offering, or ICO for short. It was the Wild West. Anyone could publish a white paper that made it seem as if their coin was going to change the world in some dramatic way. In reality, it was all a farce. The creators of the token had no intent of actually continuing the project after they had collected funds from thousands of investors. To the SEC, these tokens were being traded as unlicensed securities, which is illegal. But because it was an emerging space, they were slow to actually respond to the problem, and thousands of investors lost their shirts as the creators of the tokens quickly cashed out and left the investors holding bags of worthless tokens. So let's imagine that you were one of these criminals. You created a token on the Ethereum blockchain, collected potentially millions of dollars worth of funds from investors, and then cashed out, effectively making the token worthless. You now have millions of dollars worth of Ethereum that you need to make legitimate. So how do you do it? Enter NFTs. You create a set of accounts on a popular NFT marketplace, and you load your millions of dollars into those accounts. These are all shell accounts, and the marketplace doesn't know or care who you are. You'll probably want to buy a few other NFTs with these fake accounts to make them seem legitimate, but you're careful not to spend too much of your stolen funds. You create your own NFT by uploading some meaningless JPEG using one of your spoofed accounts. Then, using your other accounts, you start bidding up the price of that JPEG, and it starts circulating between these accounts, changing owners. If you want this to all look legitimate, you might make this process take weeks or months. Let's say you're a US citizen. You then sign up for an account on the marketplace without spoofing your geolocation. The marketplace requires you to go through their KYC process, and you happily comply, because this is the account you're going to use to transfer your money back into the real economy. Eventually, you purchase the NFT that you created from one of your shell accounts. You'll probably want to spend a decent amount of money on it so that it looks legitimate. Then you put the artwork back up for sale. Using your fake accounts, the bidding war starts again, and soon you have an offer worth millions of dollars for your NFT. You sell your NFT to this buyer, and the millions of dollars worth of Ether are transferred to your Ethereum wallet. You cash out the money to your bank account, pay taxes on the profits, and walk away with millions of dollars in stolen funds. To the government, this entire process looked kosher. All you did was buy an NFT and then resell it for a profit. The government might notice this transaction and investigate it, but you've used layers of indirection on the exchange using fake accounts. So it's hard for them to get a clear picture of where the funds came from, and it's hard for them to prove that those fake accounts were actually operated by you. In the end, they don't actually care. They collected the tax on the sale when you cashed out into US dollars, so they still got their cut. Obviously, this whole process is simplified quite a bit. We don't recommend you do this for obvious reasons. First off, it's grossly illegal and unethical. Secondly, unless you do this extremely carefully, there's a big possibility that you will get caught. Money laundering has existed in the sale of art for years. NFTs just give criminals a new method to clean their money in a unique way, and the government is having a hard time responding to the ever-changing crypto environment. It's worth noting that we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to NFTs. I'm sure there are many people who use the service legitimately and actually enjoy the process of collecting and owning digital art. But we need to start taking money laundering in the crypto space a bit more seriously, because many people have been seriously financially hurt by bad actors taking advantage of unwitting investors, and then using the largely unregulated marketplace to get away with it. Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.